I think it's important to state very clearly why we're here. An election in the minds of millions of people in Iran has been stolen. And the question is, what is the world doing about it? Is there an electricity strike at the United Nations, that the lights went out and they can't act? Isn't it amazing? How long does it take the United Nations to get together to have a resolution if the subject would be Israel? It takes 12 hours. Here, not a single country from the EU, from the Muslim and Arab world, from the United States or Canada, has come forward asking for a Security Council, an emergency meeting of the Security Council of the United Nations to discuss a fraudulent election in which nobody from the outside world is controlling. It is not the great Satan in Britain. It's not the United States. It's not the EU. It's not the Arab world that has controlled the Iranian election. Millions of Iranian citizens have taken to the streets to tell the world this election was a fraud. Isn't there a single country willing to take this to the United Nations, demanding a meeting of the Security Council to discuss what has happened in Iran? What we have is total silence. It's true that world leaders have spoken individually. But as Simon Wiesenthal has pointed out, we are in the Simon Wiesenthal Center, words alone, without concrete action, fall short of what is required of the international community. Nobody wants to interfere. The United States, President Obama has spoken about this. He's spoken today at a press conference. But it is simply not enough to have great words and rhetoric. What is required is a meaningful response in terms of action. Let the Iranians see that for a change, that the Security Council has been summoned to discuss the fact that millions of Iranians say that their election was stolen under the orders of a supreme leader. And therefore, I think it's important. I noticed in the Chatham House report, it says as follows: in a third of all provinces, the official results would require that Ahmadinejad took not only all former conservative voters, but all former centrist voters and all new voters in a third of the provinces, but also up to 44% of all former reformist voters, despite a decade of conflict between these two groups. In other words, the analysis from Chatham House is it's simply impossible. So why, as the world remains silent, and why are the lights out at the United Nations? It's a question that only the international leaders can answer.